Certainty, ability, probability, necessity, and possibility. Anytime you remember these words, think of modal verbs. Modal verbs are verbs that express ability, necessity, certainty, or possibility. Modal verbs are may, might, can, could, shall, and should, ought to, must, will, and would. Here are some defining features of modal verbs. Modal verbs are always followed by the infinitives without to. She will do. Peter could be. Forms of modal verbs remain the same with all pronouns. I will. She will. They will. Modal verbs take direct negative and question forms. Shouldn't we? Should we? And don't do this. Never combine a modal verb with another modal verb in the same sentence. I can, may is wrong. Now, let's learn the functions of each modal verb. Can or could expresses ability or permission. I can do it. Mary can bake bread. The negative form of can is cannot or can't, could not or couldn't. This shows no ability or no permission. I can't do it. Mary can't bake bread. Can is also used to make informal requests. Can I have some cups of tea? Can I take the jar of milk now? May or might expresses permission, but in a more polite way, as well as possibility. May I come over? May I borrow your mug? It also expresses possibility. It may rain tomorrow. I might come home. The negative form are may not, might not. I might not be there. She may not come. There is no contracted form of may not. The contracted form of might not is rarely used. Mightn't. Shall or should expresses an opinion, gives advice, expectations, regret, or criticism. I should be there. They should travel in one car instead. I should have picked the phone. The negative forms are shall not and should not. You shouldn't have visited them in the hospital. I shall not see you ever again. Ought to is a more formal form of should. They ought to be here. The meeting ought to end by 5 p.m. Must expresses a necessity to do something. We must be there tomorrow. They must arrive home by noon. The negative form. You must not wear your shoes into the house. She mustn't come here. Will or would expresses certainty, polite expressions, habitual action in the past. I will be coming for dinner. She will be here. What would you do without food? Examples in the negative form. I wouldn't be around for dinner. She won't be here. The contracted form of will not is won't. In this lesson, we have learned that modal verbs are verbs that express ability, necessity, certainty, or possibility. Modal verbs include may, might, will, would, shall, should, can, could, must, and ought to. Start practicing.